Okay, let's zoom in on the first one. Let's see what it wants us to do. So it wants us to plug 13 in for x, and then I'm guessing we have to figure out b. Okay, so I'm going to go 13 squared plus b13, which is really just 13b minus 21 over negative 5 times 13 minus 35, and all of that equals negative 2. So 13 squared is 169, and then 169 minus 21 is 148. And then that's negative 65 minus 35 is negative 100. Just going to double triple to make sure I'm doing okay on my math here. 169 minus 21, 148, good. I'm pretty sure I'm good. I'm just always want to double triple. Equals negative 2. All right, so now I'm going to solve this like I normally would. Solve for b like I would solve for x. And then that goes away. I end up with 148 plus 13b equals 200. Subtract 148. 13b equals 52. Divide by 13. b equals 4. Okay? So let's say I really want to check it because I want to make sure that my answer is actually correct. What I would do, let me zoom out, is I would write it as x squared plus 4x minus 21 over negative 5, x minus 35 equals negative 2. Okay, so factor this, x plus 7, x minus 3, negative 5, x plus 7, that's gone. Then I'm left with x minus 3 over negative 5 equals negative 2. Multiply both sides by negative 5. I know some of you are like, I would never do this. I just want you to see, okay? And then add 3. X equals 13, and what do you know? X does equal 13, so I did it right. Okay? All right, describe at least two differences between the graphs. So I'm going to do, let's do HA, start with VA, I always like starting with VA. VA, HA, zeros, there's whole, there's the new equation. Make it smaller. There's whole, there's new equation, there's the y-intercept. I don't need to do all of this, but I just want you to see what your options are, okay? So my VA, I set it equal to 0, and that's x equals 3, and that's the same, so that's not it. HA, these are exactly the same, so this would be y equals 1. And this one is no HA. So that's one difference right there. The zeros set the numerator equal to 0. Okay, so this one is x equals negative 6. And this is x plus 3, x minus 3. So x, oops, zeros, just kidding. Write it as a point, write it as a point, I'm with you. Negative 6, 0, negative 3, 0, and 3, 0. Here's another difference. Do that in yellow. And then the whole, well, there isn't a whole, because, oh, there is a whole, okay? Actually, and if you look, these are, I went too fast. This isn't my zeros. This is my whole. So I have a whole at 3 comma something. But here, I don't even have a whole, which means my new equation, so this thing is the same, which means my new equation is f of x equals x plus 3. So these are differences, and now my 0 is not that, and technically I don't have a VA because I don't have a denominator, so that's the second one, and still no HA, okay? My y-intercept, in order to get my y-intercept, I plug in 0. So to me, this question, if they only ask for two differences, if you give me more, I'll give you bonus, okay? So I plug in 0. 0 plus 6 is 6. 0 minus 3 is negative 3. 6 divided by negative 3 is negative 2. Let me zoom that in a little bit, sorry. And then if I plug in 0 here, 0 plus 3 is 3. There's another difference. Okay? So there's actually a lot of differences in this one. All right, so now in this one, they want a possible equation. Okay, since it says equation, I can do y equals. All right, so this is a real test, do I understand? So the VA, remember our VAs were always at the bottom. So remember when it was x minus 3, it was 3. So you're going to go backwards. X minus 2, and then 0, so that's an x. The horizontal asymptote, 3/4. Well, remember when these were exactly the same, we divided. So 1 divided by 1 was 1. So if it's 3/4, that means I have to put a 3 here and a 4 here. Okay? The whole is at x minus 1. Remember, whole means it's a repeat. Okay? So that means I have x minus 1, x minus 1. So that's done, that's done, that's done. X-intercept are my zeros. Well, my zeros are my numerator. X minus 3, x plus 2. Let's make sure that's right. 3x is on top, 3x is on bottom. They have the same amount of x's. That's why it works. Okay. All right, let's see. June thinks the answer is 2, but April says there's no solution. Who is correct, if anyone? Well, let's see. So in this problem, what I'm going to want you to do is, actually, you can just see by plugging in 2. That doesn't work, because if you go 5x over 2 minus 2, that's 5x over 0, which is undefined. So this is no solution. So let's see. Who is correct? So let's see. June finds it as 2, but April says it's no solution. So April is correct. Okay? So you need to make sure you state all those things. All right, show how you know that this equals this has no solution. Okay, so that means I know the answer is no solution. Now I need to actually solve it. So when I have the same thing on the left and the same thing on the right, I can cancel them. Okay. If you didn't know that, I'll eventually show you how I can get the same thing. So I get 3x equals 9, divide by 3, x equals 3. You plug 3 in there. 1 over 3 minus 3 is 1 over 0, which is undefined. Now, let me do the problem again to show you if I did not know that. I would multiply everything by x minus 3. Okay, to get rid of the denominator. Then by. Distribute, distribute. Minus 1 equals, distribute, distribute. Minus 9x. This is negative 28, and then add 28. For solving, so I'm going to divide by 3. X minus 3. X equals 3. There's the 3 that I got. Some of you could also see is that if I added this to both sides, it would cancel. Okay?